welcome back to part 2 of me breaking down my Wonder Woman cosplay, and in this video we're going to break down how I made Wonder Woman's weapons and props. So yeah, keep watching if you're interested or if you're wanting to make any of your own. So this is Diana, or Wonder Woman's sword, otherwise known as Godkiller, otherwise known as a pretty useless plot device in the Wonder Woman movie, but this was also the very first prop I ever made. And I am, to this day, pretty proud of how it came out. So the entire sword itself, it's a little bit skew, ignore that, is made of EVA foam. There's a lot of different parts to this. So something that I wouldn't recommend doing, but this sword is sectioned into 2 parts. We have the blade and we have the hilt of the sword. Internally, the sword has a foam board as a base. I would recommend doing your swords or any props, unless you're making it modular for travel purposes, I would recommend making them in 1 full section rather than 2, because when you wobble it, yeah, it shouldn't be doing that, but mine does. I like to think it's unique. But basically this is made of 2 sections, foam board, then covered in, I think it was 5mm foam to get that kind of beveled edge, and then covered and sandwiched in 2mm foam, so 2mm foam for Americans out there. Yes, but yeah. And then all the details that you see, all like, I think they're runes, I don't quite know what to call them. These are all soldered in using a wood burner or soldering iron. There's a lot of references out there. It took me a while to find some decent ones, but I would highly recommend following them instead of making your own up, because they do mean specific things. The base itself is wrapped in more EVA foam, and I got that texture by burning it in with a soldering iron once more. And the part that was most daunting to make of this entire sword was definitely the dragon heads that kind of eat the sword in a way. This was made out of EVA foam that I dremeled down, and then the dragon heads themselves were made out of foamclay. And I sculpted each one, and it's reflected on the back. I sculpted each and every one of them out of foam clay and kind of molded them over the EVA foam base that I'd made. I think this was about maybe 1 centimeter foam, if I'm not mistaken, or 10mm. And same goes with this, also molded out of foam clay and then textured. And the little, I have no idea what to call these. The little prongs that kind of sit at the bottom of a sword, also foam clay. I would highly recommend getting your hands on some of these, because they open up a whole new world of possibility. They're super white. They're super lightweight. Okay. Super white. I did actually use white for these though. They're super lightweight, and it takes out the stress of having anything crack or get too heavy or shatter if you're using like any other kind of traditional clay. So I'd recommend getting your hands on some foam clay to sculpt these. But yeah, this sword has accompanied me since 2018, if I'm not mistaken. I'm lying. It's 2019.
Do you want to mention it's a nice way to just bonk the
Yes, that's why I said it's accompanied me to conventions since 2019, and I was going to go, but since you're using it as a cutaway, I shouldn't just correct myself. Sorry, this is from 2019. This has accompanied me since 2019, and since then it has resulted in a fantastic method of keeping creepy people away at conventions. The sword has seen quite a bit of action, surprisingly. Cosplays in general, if there is someone that is getting a little too close to you, don't be afraid to use your props to kind of nudge them away. So yeah, this is creep repellent, and I may have accidentally hit a child with it once, but that was an accident. The parents said it was fine. Just saying. But yeah, this is definitely my favorite prop I've ever made. I don't think, super proud of all the detail that I managed to put in this, and it is all movie accurate, which is a motto of mine, clearly. My second Wonder Woman prop is actually her shield, which is made entirely out of 1 centimeter thick foam, or 10mm, and all of the detailing is 2mm foam that has been soldered in with all the details. And also using a box cutter and heating up the foam, I managed to get these really keen details in the little, I don't know what to call these, the Art Deco. They're actually pretty much Art Deco styled details on the shield. Once again, also great for keeping creeps away. So the inside of the shield is, I try to get it as close as possible to the movie, which is kind of hard when you don't really see the inside of Diana's shield. So using a lot of action figures and toys, I managed to kind of figure out that there were 3 belts. This one is for holding on with your fist, and these 2 kind of sit around your arm. I'll show you now. But probably the most glaring difference in movie accuracy and my prop is the fact that I have a giant pouch here, or pocket. I use this to, well, if the zip decides to work, I'm fighting with it. Yeah, a giant functional pouch. I keep my keys in here, I keep my phone in here, I keep money. It's really hard to keep valuable or any possessions on you when you are wearing almost skin-tight armor, aside from slipping things down there, which I would not recommend. It's really hard to keep things on you, and sometimes you just don't always have a person with you to help carry your stuff, look after things. So I would recommend building storage into your cosplay, and for me, the shield is one of the easiest places to do it because when it's worn, now, you don't really see it. Unless you explicitly stand like that, you won't see the pouch. So although the shield gets a bit heavy, it is so worthwhile having it. And also, like, at times you can just be like, my shield has pockets. So yeah, that's probably my catchphrase every time I'm at a convention. But super sturdy. It's honestly the best way to pose in cosplay is when you have a sword in one hand and a shield in the other, because then you don't have the awkward hand thing like I do in most of my videos. So yeah. These are my 2 Wonder Woman props, and the only props that I've pretty much ever made for cosplay.
So what you've pretty much told everyone is if they want to mug you, they just take your shield.
Everyone keeps their phone and props in stuff, Caleb. Have got to watch other cosplay tutorials. So the other weapon, because I'm a very dangerous human being, is Wonder Woman's lasso of truth. And like I showed in my other video, which you probably should check out, it fits onto the belting, dismantles, and yeah. This lasso is actually a recent upgrade. Before I had a piece of rope that I painted gold, didn't look so legit, and now I managed to find a bunch of cording or braiding, I'm not too sure what this is, that is really reflective. So in photos, this thing really, really pops. And yeah, not too sure how many meters this is, but another detail that I don't know if a lot of people noticed is the tips of Wonder Woman's lasso actually have a decorative piece on each side of them. You can tell I studied the movie in great detail, but I actually have these decorative beads. They're not completely movie accurate. It's really hard to make really tiny things, but they're just really tiny decorative beads that I've stuck on the end, and they actually do give the appearance of, I don't know, it being more than just rope, which is what the lasso of truth is. But in future, what I think could be very cool is making a glowing lasso of truth, and maybe that is something that I will try out in future. But for now, I'm very happy with this. And it makes for a great prop during photos. You can do tons of stuff with it. Thank you guys so much for watching part 2 of my breakdown video. And yeah, I really have a lot of fun filming these things, so maybe there'll be more in future as I keep making some costumes. And if you enjoyed this breakdown series, I would highly recommend you hop on over to one of my other playlists where I break down my Eivor costume for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe.